J'ai nos espoirs comme on arrache des pétales. Des reproches un peu insidieux, j'ai perdu confiance en moi. Je voulais rouler vers les étoiles, mais j'ai perdu.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Jaren, and today we are talking about Evil Dead Burn. After the loss of her husband, a woman seeks solace with her in-laws. As one by one they transform into deadites, she discovers that the vows she took in life survive even in death. This marks the 6th entry in the franchise, 3 if you only want to count the reboot timeline, but we pick up directly where we left off after the events of Evil Dead Rise. Now, I've always looked back on fond memories when it comes to this particular franchise because growing up in a Catholic household, I've always been reluctant to think that this is the type of franchise that was very taboo for me to watch, but eventually my best friend Nohea kind of pushed this franchise onto me, and I couldn't have been more thankful that this is the type of movie that I'd be excited to go to the movies for, and, big thank you to him. I absolutely adore the original. I think the sequel is an absolute blast. Army of Darkness was the black sheep of the bunch, but I've learned to, slowly warm up to it over time. The TV show, it was basically Supernatural with Ash Williams, but you can never go wrong with more Bruce Campbell. The 2013 reboot, I absolutely love that movie. I watched that one just as much as I do with the original. Evil Dead Rise, that one was pretty good, but it sort of pales in comparison, especially when you watch it right after how great the reboot is. The original creators have heard the fans yearning for more, and I thought it was a rather interesting choice that they wanted to keep the heartbeat of this franchise pumping every other few years, so bringing in some new directors and creatives to tackle the base of this foundation in refreshing angles and new flavors, while also honoring what came before. Now, after seeing this latest installment for myself, I can honestly say that this was by far the meanest, nastiest, most vicious, and relentlessly chaotic entry since the 2013 reboot. Now, having said all that, I do have to say that when it comes down to franchise standouts, such as Predator Badlands or Final Destination Bloodlines that have come out recently, there are some concerns, especially with this movie, that need to be addressed moving forward. Starting off with the positives, now I haven't had the chance to check out director Sebastian Vanachuk's last movie, Infested, just yet. That's the one with all the spiders in that apartment complex. And as consistent as the Evil Dead franchise has remained, this director managed to inject some French extremity with a little bit of action here. I mean, this family isn't just getting carved up by the Deadites, they're getting fucked up. Full-on grappling and brawling, getting tossed from room to room, thrown up on the ceiling, getting hammered through the rotting drywall. If you think you've seen it all when it comes to the violence here, I mean, especially when it comes to the gore, the practical effects, and even the physically demanding performances, they really just kick it up a notch. The cinematography and the editing was rather abrasive, aggressive, and breakneck paced that I was feeling uneasy and uncomfortable from start to finish. Now, that may have been by design, but it only made the tension and the family drama a lot more blistering even before the Deadites come knocking. The sharp transitional choices were rather cheeky and clever that, although the cuts weren't necessarily meant to make you laugh, it got a good chuckle out of me. And if you love the way that they went about presenting the title card in Evil Dead Rise, you're going to get a kick of how they do it here. I admire how this movie was a very well-rounded viewing experience for both longtime fans and casual viewers, such as subverting expectations to tropes that we know and love, without so much as alienating the new viewers with frequent winks at the screen. One example being the urgency and motivations of the Deadites, as well as the incantation not necessarily being the catalyst this time around. I swear there were a couple opportunities where they wanted to give us the iconic chainsaw, but we ended up with a different kind of instrument of death, which resulted into some bloody, satisfying set pieces. Now, while there are some nuggets of lore that will appease any die-hard fan at the slightest, I was both bummed and relieved that they didn't necessarily lean into the connective tissue of the overall universe. So if you are expecting that they're going to make some kind of reference to Ash vs. Evil Dead because of the main setting, because of the family house, you can reel back those expectations because it's not happening. Compared to the family we got in Rise, the in-laws that fall prey to the evil here is not necessarily sympathetic. I mean, our protagonist Alice is not necessarily welcome in the warm embrace when it comes to her late husband's parents. Let's just say that the brutal and gruesome fates that await this family is very much justified to a T. Amongst the many depraved performances we get from our ensemble, Lucien Buchanan, I hope I said her name right, she's the one in the trailer with the vehicle headrest right through her skull. Her showcase was incredibly nail-biting and outrageous. I loved it. Grandma Polly, I mean, she stole the spotlight and the audience's laughter with every one-liner she was throwing out there. She's a little racist. Getting into my mixed opinions, now I've mentioned this before as this movie doing a pretty good job at being well-rounded with both longtime viewers as well as casual viewers, but now I think we've hit a peak where something's got to change. From the 2013 reboot to Burn, I feel like we've been treading the same structure by switching up the templates and some of the ingredients to make it accessible, where now I want to further out the lore. I want to get more information out of this Necronomicon. I want to know where this thing came from, what it originated from. I mean, give us another Army of Darkness, another Ash vs. Evil Dead, just enriching the story already than just going back to the basics all the time. I mean, sure, it's a risky move because these movies have been proven successful over the years, but there's got to be more than just setting up brand new characters who stumbled onto a way to conjure up evil by accident and become isolated in a singular location, and it becomes a story of survival all over again. They got to get out of this wheelhouse, man. I mean, it's going to become an unsustainable cycle of rinse and repeat like the Terminator franchise if they don't do something else. Getting into my negatives, now I had no idea that this was going to have 2 post-credits scenes, so luckily I didn't leave the theater right away. And without spoiling anything, the very last one, it felt like a studio executive decision. Because not only did it not make sense, but the potential future that it sets up felt like a Marvel Cinematic Universe team-up. Like, what the fuck? Regardless of the rules that they've made up along the way when it comes to this legacy, I mean, it just doesn't work for me here. I mean, clearly, the person who wrote this scene, the person who worked on this scene, was definitely not on the same writing team who handled the continuity for this installment, because the results here just do not feel earned. It doesn't operate within its canon. But Jaren, this is the Evil Dead universe. Haven't they taken bold swings before? What happened to this character, where this character ended up, and the mechanics of this character making an appearance here was only shooed in forcefully in order to get a reaction out of fans. Even the casual fans have no business in sticking around for this post-credit scene because they're going to be like, who the fuck is this person? You know what? It's already confirmed that the next movie, Evil Dead Wrath, is going to be taking place in the 70s, so I don't have to worry about this particular contrivance coming to fruition anytime soon. I mean, goodness. Other than the color palette being so gray, this post-credit scene felt so unnecessary, it left a sour taste in my mouth. I mean, I was good with this movie up until that point. Overall, Sebastian Vanacek, you directed the shit out of this Evil Dead movie. I'm curious as to what you would do if you were handed an American action thriller project. I'm just saying. I've read some mixed reviews. I think I'm on an island when I have to say that I enjoyed Burn more than I did Rise, and I'm not necessarily saying that Rise was a bad movie. I'm just saying that Burn is a much more furious and metal companion piece. Absolutely curious as to other avenues that the future of this franchise plans on exploring, especially with the creatives that need to take risks outside of everything that they've already succeeded in. Definitely check this out on the big screen with the loudest sound possible. I mean, this is a roller coaster ride of a horror movie with teeth that does not pull back its punches. Well, all right, guys, that's all I got to share about that movie. As you can hear, I'm already losing my voice. I'm Jaren Agbanawag. I want to thank you guys again for taking some time out of your day to hear me talk some movies. Look forward to more reviews, and I'll see you guys at the theater. Take care.
La nuit n'est plus tombée, je pensais que je pouvais voler. Je t'entends lever toutes mes émotions. Et puis un jour je me suis relevée.